Two-part question. First, I know last couple of seasons you've been dealing with like health issues. How does it feel to have that kind of behind you and be able to go into this season with all the depth that you have with 18 stars returning?
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. Kind of get a little bit more confidence. It's something I definitely don't take for granted. Something to be thankful for, and it's kind of part of the game of football. Something you deal with, but I'm excited for how this season will turn out.
I know you try not to look forward to like the future, but Colorado game's on the calendar for early September. You weren't able to finish that game last season. How does it feel to have that second shot to go back there, especially going to Boulder?
Yeah. Well, first things first, we definitely have to focus on South Alabama. They're going to be a tough team, and that's going to be a big one for us. And then Colorado will be a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to playing that team in Boulder. Should be a lot of Nebraska fans there too, and it'll be a good time and a good game.
Suspended, not part of the team. There were some other guys that were suspended as well that are no longer a part of the team. What did you see from Nate that showed his agility to come back and be a part of this team and be the person he is?
Well, first of all, excellent question. I mean, as I said, young people make mistakes, and you don't want them to, when they make a mistake, it be a death sentence for them. We always give a guy an opportunity, a way to come back. Some things you have to do to stay out of the situation. Nate chose to do that. Acknowledge some mistakes that he made. Say, hey, coach, it's not going to happen again, and that's what he's done. Simple as that. And he went back to work. In the classroom, off the field, everything. That's why he's representing us.
How has he been a leader for that unit on defense?
His work ethic. What we as coaches have asked him to do, and just being a leader of that room. He's the elder statesman in that cornerback room. Juan Martin, Marquez Beeson, some of the young players coming in, they look up. Now Nate is in that top tier. And he realizes that his influence has to be a certain way, and that's what's happening.
For academics and athletics, send not only your team now, but the guys you're out there.
Oh, it sends a future message for sure. We're a life program. We're not a football program. It's a life program. We want our players to be better in every area of their life, which is going to springboard them into being a husband, being a father, and then later on in their life being a grandfather, and just being an influencer. Who's going to tell their story, who's going to, live out their legacy for them when they're gone. I mean, you're setting that right now. And Tyler Johnson making the decision to come back because the main reason when he looked me in the eye said, I want to get my degree. There's not a lot of players who would sit there and say that's a first thing. They'd even say the team. It was his degree, then it was the team, then it was all the individual things. So it's pretty amazing when you have somebody that humble, but that confident in their ability to do it again. Because some people say, I don't know if I can do that again. He's going to be just fine. And, I've been around a lot of players, a lot of wide receivers who had that, and Corey Davis being one of them. And he could have left early too. And he came back for all the right reasons and went from maybe a third-round pick to the 5th overall pick in the draft. So Tyler's very talented in everything he does. He's really developed in his leadership, and I'm proud of him.
In Indianapolis, the prior recruiting class had a ton of success with New Year's Six, going to the Rose Bowl. How much does that mean to your legacy to finally be able to get to a spot like that in New Year's Six or in the playoff semifinals?
Yeah, I just want to leave my mark on something. Whether it's Big Ten championship, Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl, something. I want to get to something that's just bigger than anything I've done the past 3 years, and we've done the past 3 years. So, as a class, as a senior class, we want to do that for Michigan State and get us going in the right direction again.
I feel like there's just more at stake because we haven't been as good as we should have been the last few years. 7-6 isn't going to cut it for us. That's not what we came to Michigan State to do. We came to Michigan State to win championships, and that's what we're about, and that's our goals.
Getting as a former walk-on, did you ever believe that you'd be in this position at this point in time?
I didn't know it was going to come to fruition. I always dreamed of it, but to be in this position and look back on my experience and my journey, it's a surreal feeling.
Noah's done a great job. Again, we weren't actively pursuing necessarily somebody at that position, but he decided he was going to leave and move on, and we found out about it and brought him in. I think he fits us from a character standpoint and an attitude standpoint, as well as being a guy that can help us on the field. hearing really good things about him. I don't get to watch him when they have a ball out there, but the quarterbacks are telling me that he already knows 3 receiver spots and is very reliable, understands how to run routes and get open, and he's a good addition to that room.
Scott, I know that Maurice still has a scheduled court appearance between now and the start of camp, but do you have a plan, and would you share the plan of how you'll treat his status with the team if the situation isn't resolved by the time camp starts?
Yeah, that's all conjecture. We're going to wait and see how it all turns out with Maurice. And he's been doing a pretty good job in the weight room and with the team, but we won't make any decisions on status or anything until we know that his legal problems are over. And I don't want to guess on which way we'll land depending on what happens.
But if there hasn't been a resolution when camp starts, would he be limited as he was in the spring, or how would you handle that?
Yeah, I don't think camp's going to be an issue. He's already been doing some of spring ball and working out with our team. So I don't think any decision would have to be made because of his legal issues being unresolved until the first game.
Hey, Coach, let's talk about some update with him. I know that you guys anticipated he'd be back, but how was his summer, and where is he at right now physically?
Doing great. He's back practicing, working out 100% right now, and he's ready to roll.
Go back to the quarterbacks, Ryan. I get this question all the time. So you wouldn't have gone out to get Justin Fields, somebody with his recruiting pedigree, without assuming he was probably going to be the starter. So why not say it? What's the value for you guys and take that into go out in August and have that uncertainty?
In terms of being a starter?
Well,
because one of our core philosophies is that you don't just get given the starting position, you have to earn everything you get around here. And he hasn't done that. And I think that the hard thing for everybody to realize is that he's coming off the heels of Dwayne Haskins. And so I think a lot of people think, Dwayne, went from 0 to 60 so fast, and he just kind of jumped into the Heisman Trophy race, and that all happened. Well, that was a very different scenario than Justin Fields. And so Justin hasn't won the job yet. I mean, that's the first step in all this. And I know everybody wants to get way ahead of themselves and start talking about Heisman, but how about winning the starting quarterback job first? Because you can't win the job when you're still learning the offense. And so, he learned the offense in the spring. He's got to step ahead of Gunnar because Gunnar just got here. He didn't even go through the spring. And so that room is really, really green. And Chris Chuganoff's going to be in there. He's going to be competing and fighting, for playing time there. So, and Mike Yursich, is new to our staff as well. So that whole room is literally the first step of the progression. And, we've done a good job in the spring of picking that up. And then August is going to be big for us. August is going to be one of those times where we've got to move. We're going to have to take big steps forward. And then the first time we play in that first game, the quarterback's going to be throwing the first pass. And he's got to throw his first touchdown pass. And, all the things are for the first time. And I know it was the same way with Dwayne last year, but he had been in the program. That was his 3rd year, and he also had game experience. I think that was a unique situation as well.
Ryan.